Kevin would be, or James needs to be,
right,
or anybody else on that team. So when you're an artist, the problem in basketball is that you're not an artist like a painter is an artist, because you can just go solo, or a sculptor is an artist, you can go solo, or even an actor is an artist, you can actually be in a solo universe as an actor. Denzel can just go take over the movie, and he doesn't really need that much help from his co-stars.
Correct.
He is the driving force. But in this case, this is not a me situation. This is a we. To display your artistry the way that you need a basketball team to do so. Am I right?
Yes.
So to be on a basketball team in a pandemic, you have to consider the we and prioritize it above the me.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
And he's not doing that.
Right.
It's all about me and my views, my political, my medical views, whatever you want to say. This has become, obviously, the biggest medical and political issue facing this country, you can argue right now, is the COVID vaccine.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You mentioned him being an artist like a painter or like a sculptor. When you just paint like Picasso and Rembrandt, they didn't really sell a whole lot, so they were on their own timeline. So
Skip, they didn't sell while they were alive, unfortunately for them.
Right, but that's the thing, Skip. So I can take as long as I want to complete this work.
You can.
But, Skip, when I commission you to do this sculpture or to do this painting, guess what? You need to be on the timeline. You need to have it finished when you said, well, even though he's an artist, you're on a timeline.
You're on a timeline.
You only got X amount of years to be able to do this, Kyrie. And so your championship window is right now. You don't have, say, well, in 10 years, then let me think about it and I'll get back to you. That's not how it works.
He's made a ton of money.
Yes.
I'm sure he's thinking, I'm just fine. I don't really need the $33 million.
But here's the thing. In order for him to do what he wants to do, which is help people, he's going to need more of that, Skip. If you realize he's really big helping the WNBA. He's really big. He gave scholarships to some historically black institutions.
He has a great.
So, Skip, he needs to continue to do that.
I hope he thinks that. I'm not sure about it. So now that he's on the dream team and it's heavily favored to win this year's championship, he is in such a commanding position, he is holding them hostage. It's similar to the Ben Simmons situation, but very different, because while Ben Simmons is demanding a trade because you did me wrong, demanding a trade, Kyrie is daring them to trade him.
Correct.
I dare you to, because you know and I know you won't be quite as good without me, right?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he say, I know you won't trade me, because that guy number 7, who holds all the cards, nothing goes in or out without his permission, because the last thing I'll upset everybody on that team except number 7.
That is correct.
James, I'll tick James Harden off. I'll tick number 11 off. I am not getting Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Because he's Skip, look, and all these guys, I used to say, all these guys are great in their own right.
Yep.
But that guy, that tall guy, that 7 foot tall that says all he wants to do is hoop.
It's all-time freakish talent.
Yes.
Rare talent in Kyrie.
Yes.
I still say indispensable to this year's team just because of his connection with number 7.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
That's how he's holding them hostage.
Right.
I brought you 7. You're going to trade me? You're going to alienate him?
Right.
He might just throw in the towel this year.
But Skip, at some point in time, even as my friend, and we're trying to accomplish something, if you're holding us back, well, I'm going to have to move on. And that's what happens a lot of times, Skip. When I was growing up, my friends didn't want the same things that I want. And even though we were friends, I realized that I was going to have to leave you behind.
You have to.
And at some point in time, Skip, Kevin Durant's going to have to come to the conclusion. Kyrie Irving doesn't want the same thing that I want as bad as I want it. And that's the only way it works. From top to bottom, have to be equally as invested. Well, if you're not equally as invested as I am, unfortunately, bro, we can still be cool, but I'm going to have to move on without you.
I hear you, which is why it hurts me to watch Kyrie take this stand, because we both agree that vaccination is clearly the way to go.
Right.
All the medical people in charge in the NBA have decided, the NFL, every league, this is the way you have to do it.
Right.
This is the way to protect the product that allows you to make $33 million.
Right.
We'll have a better chance of avoiding the COVID protocol casualties, so to speak, if you will get vaccinated. He's the last holdout that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are a few others.
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal's a good one. That's a good one. But Kyrie is the primary principal in the spotlight holdout here.
Because his home arena says you can't play in it if you're not vaccinated, if you're on the home team.
Okay, and so look what the home team is up against right now. The only preseason time that Kyrie can participate with this team is next Monday night at, ironically, you brought it up, Philadelphia. That is the only time. He can't practice.
No.
He can't play games, but this is the one game that will be before the home opener that he would be eligible to play in. Wait a second. Then 7 and 13 are saying, Kai, come on, man. We got to get this together. We got to play a little bit of little preseason
He
together.
can't even practice,
No,
Skip.
he can't practice.
So that's
Skip. It. The whole preseason, he gets one shot Monday night at Philly.
Unless they're on the road, he can't even practice when they're home. They would have to move. They would have to move practice. Do you understand how cumbersome that would be? We're moving practice. We're picking up all this equipment, and we're moving it for one player.
And then they open at Milwaukee, which will be no bargain, but he could play there.
Yeah, he could play there, yeah.
But then they come home very quickly for I believe it's a 6-game homestand. And you're out.
Yeah, out.
Well, how can you? He's part-time at best.
Right.
For the Brooklyn Nets, the prohibitive favorites. And I guarantee you, your man LeBron James right now is licking his chops saying, we got a shot here because of this.
Yeah, everybody's looking at Milwaukee like,
you're right.
But I pray you don't. Ooh, Miami, he's like, keep it going, Kyrie. Just keep this thing going.
Okay, but I give you that the Lakers shape up as the second-best team. We're about to talk about their preseason, what we saw from them in their game at Phoenix yesterday. But the point is that, yeah, they're the second-best team, and I would love to see Nets-Lakers in the finals.
Of course.
Everybody would.
Yes.
It would be star-studded.
Yes.
It would be can't miss.
Right.
And yet, all of a sudden, I don't know if they can I don't know if they can get there. I don't know if they can get past Milwaukee without Kyrie. And he knows it better than anybody because he's got extremely high basketball IQ. So now you're holding them hostage. You're playing chicken. You're playing a game of blink with them. Who's going to blink first?
Correct.
I hope you're right. I hope Kevin's leaning in the right direction, that Kyrie will have made his stand and made his point, and that maybe the day before the Milwaukee game, he gets vaccinated.
Kyrie has an injury history. He's had surgery on several body parts. They put Kyrie under anesthesia. If they wanted him done, he'd have never woken up.
Now you're going real conspiracy theory.
But if I'm using his logic,
that's his logic.
If I'm using his logic, if somebody wanted something done to him, they could have done it.
They could have done it. They could have put a chip in. They could have done it. Whatever. Yes. Okay. I got it. But in the end, this is about his love of basketball that I question, because he took a sabbatical last year. He had to get his head right, work on his mental health, whatever. I just don't know that he loves basketball the way most of these guys love basketball.
I think there are other things that's tugging on him. Like I said, I think he had an awakening. He had a moment where all of a sudden there were bigger things. There were things that were going on in the world.
I agree.
That piqued his curiosity and interest and tugged at him in a way that basketball has never tugged at him.
And I'm good with that.
I'm good with that also.
But at some point, you have to choose.
But
you want to follow that path? If you do, I'm good with it. But you can't take the $33 million. You can't have it both ways.
You can't say, I need to do these causes, but I'm going to be part-time while y'all pay me full-time salary.
That is correct.
It just doesn't work like that, Skip.
No, you cannot have it both ways. And if you're somehow burned out on basketball, if winning this year's championship really doesn't matter to you anymore, that these other things have so much more consequence in your life, I am cool with that. Just go on.
If that's what you want to do, just don't hijack the other 12, 13 members of the Brooklyn Nets.
That's what you're doing.
If that's what you want to do. Skip, I ain't got no problem. If that's what you want to do, you want to party. But guess what you done? They tell the guys, I mean, obviously in football, we didn't have it like this. And unless it was a superstar, and that's what he is, Skip. It's so few. You only got 12, 14 guys on the roster. And he's one of the three best. football, the 35th guy is not going to have no impact. But you're talking about John, you're talking about TD, you're talking about a Ray Lewis or someone like that. Now that's going to have an impact on the team. Now, if you want to do your thing, do your thing. But let's not have it a negative impact on the football team. Or now, in this situation, the basketball team. I believe Kyrie's going to get the vaccination. I believe James Harden and KD will eventually get through them and say, bro, we got a chance to do something special.
Very special.
But you have to appeal to him. We can't do it without you. You're the only you make this work.
Okay.
You make this work,
I love that speech. I'm not sure Kevin's capable of making that speech to Kyrie. I hope he is.
Well, James go do it.
Well, James could appeal to him. I need help. You know, I don't have a ring.
Kyrie, I came here for you, bro. I know you were special.
Okay, I love that.
You embraced me with open arms.
They
you said, hey, James, you the point guard.
He
I'm
said,
go to
here,
guard.
you do this.
Bro,
yep.
we in this together.
Agree.
We're a team. We're a family. We need to do this because we got an opportunity to do something special. We got an opportunity to go down and be one of the historically great teams to win a title.
They do.
But we can only do that with you, Kyrie, bro. We can't do this without you.
Correct.
Even though in the back of their mind, they're like, well, you know, I think KD and James is enough. But we can't do it without you, bro. We need you.
Could you call Kyrie this afternoon? I think LeBron would not appreciate that.
Do you have a relationship enough with him?
I do not have I've only talked to him one time. He was a very interesting young man, I will say that.
But you're the fifth horseman in LeBron's, but you can't do that.
So why would I help? Why would I help?
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
It feels like you'd be maybe crossing the line. It's just hard to imagine the Nets without him, and I don't know. I hope we all